Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for being here. And this is my opening. Of course, I'm speaking on behalf of plenty of people in the organization. And this has become sort of tradition for me to do the opening, so it's always a pleasure. And this year, I'm going to open PyConX. So welcome to PyConX. As you may have noticed on the booklet, there's this fancy thing about joking with PyConX and X Factor and stuff like that. So first of all, I would really like to, this is my personal payoff, the only conference where everything is gold and glitter. My personal thank goes to the designer of these colors, and people in the organization know who I'm talking about, because it gives me the opportunity to use this skimmer animation in Keynote. I thought I never would, but yes, you'll never know. Anyway, so I think for those of you being in the previous opening talks of mine, I believe some of you are expecting some jokes about this X Factor, but that is my reply, not today. So first things first, Wi-Fi connection. I guess that's the most important things for everyone. And in case you're wondering if the Wi-Fi password has changed, the answer is ish. So PyConX is the SSID, PyCon 2019. We just update the year every year, you know. So last year was PyCon 2018, 2 years ago was 17, stuff like that, you know. Very secure, you know. And as for social media, please use the PyConX hashtag on Twitter and Instagram. And in case you don't know, it's a couple of years we do that. We have a Slack channel specifically dedicated for the conference. So please join us on Slack for any kind of communication. All right? Most of this stuff will be on Slack, ready to answer your question, or even in case you want to organize some alternative social meeting or meetups or whatever you want, right? For any kind of things, Slack is there for you. I just want to introduce the conference by talking about all the new things we thought this year. And I would like to start with saying that PyCon is respectful. We've worked a lot on that. As we always do every year, we have a code of conduct. And I want to say that because it's very important for us. In case of any problem, I would say we yellow t-shirt, but I'm not wearing a yellow one, but I will after the opening talks. All the organizers are here for you, all right? So in case of any kind of issue, any kind of problem, complaint, or even just to tell what's going on and what's not going on to you, please let us know. We are very strict on that. We have rules, behavioral ones, on how to properly behave at the conference, and that's for the code of conduct. You'll find it on the website. Plus, this year, we've included specifically an extension to this code of conduct, which is the PyData code of conduct, provided by NonFocus, that basically extends what we already have. Talking about inclusiveness and conference, I wanted to introduce this. I really like that. This is the Pacman group, and Eric Holscher is one of the most prominent person in the Python community, creator of Reader of Docs first. And he said something like, and Mark, actually we had this sort of Twitter conversation with Mark, I guess he's in the room, and he basically said, right, he said, these animations should be in the opening notes of every conference, and I say, duly noted. And that's very interesting, the Pacman room. So try to not be close to others, try to include everyone. Plus, maybe you just realized, you should have found in your bags these two pins, right? They are meant to be used in any way you want. That's just to communicate to others the way you feel in that specific moment, for the rest of the day, whenever, right? Just to, just to communicate to others what you're feeling. So if you're happy to socialize, please put that green pin on. If you prefer not to talk, the yellow one. Plus, in case you do not prefer to appear in the photos, there is an additional one, the red one. You can go at the registration desk and ask for it, and you will have it, so that photographers going around the conference during the days will know that you don't want to appear in the photos, right? And finally, about this section, our mentoring. There are these badges. We've been designed specifically for the beginners mentors, but beginners workshop. We've been doing in the last three years. And this is amazing. This actually, since we're talking about Game of Thrones, this is a great adaptation from Harry Potter, and that's on the website. That's a beginner's mentor's oath, just like the Night's Watch. And it's very funny. But speaking of that, in case you want to help with that, in case you want to be a mentor, you just have to go to the registration desk, ask for this badge, and this means that you're basically saying that you won't help anybody with any kind of thing, technical thing and non-technical stuff. Finally, I would like to say, PyCon is green. Every material will be used for the booklet, and the schedule is totally recyclable. Speaking about lunches, probably you may have noticed on your lanyard, right on your badge, you should have found these colored tags. Okay. In case you're wondering what they're meant to be, basically just to avoid any issue and mess at the lunchtime, we decided to schedule a lunch shift for everyone. Okay. So for the 3 days of the conference, you will find what's your shift to have lunch, just to avoid any problem at the canteen. Okay. In case you're not happy with it, our suggestion is to find someone else to share or to exchange. Okay? So in case you want to change your shift or your turn, please find someone else who wants to do the same. And additionally, you will find all the information in the booklet in case you're wondering and scared and will never hit. You will, no worries, right? This is just to avoid any crowded queues on the canteen. And plus, I would like to announce that, I don't know if that has been written in the booklet, but I will tell you, we have a special discount price, 10% off, if you show your badge, with the Universo Vegano. It's a vegan universe in English. That's a vegan restaurant quite nearby. And in case you're interested, we have this special discount. Social event. This year, we're going to have pie dinner tonight, all right? So we just changed a bit the program. The social event will be tonight, May the 3rd. We change also the location. It's going to be Cucina Torcicoda. It's very close by. It's near Santa Croce Square. And this is the address. You'll find the information in the booklet. And that's exactly because we can have more choices in the menu, and that's because it's a bigger venue, so we hope we have more spots for anyone. We should have 25-ish tickets left, so in case you do not take your ticket on the website, please pop to the registration desk, you will find some, and ask for it. On the very same day, tonight, before the very last session of the day, we're going to have a welcome party. I really suggest you to come because we thought about a very fun game to socialize and to foster social interaction. So it's going to be fun. In case I don't want to spoil anything. So in case you would like to know more, please join us at the welcome party. Yeah, it's going to be 18:45 today, last session. That was for May the 3rd, so for today. And since I didn't put any meme about Star Wars yet, we're going to talk about May the 4th. That's got to be the rest of the day. Yes, so Pi Drink on May the 4th. Pi Drink is like what we used to call the Pi Beer. This year we decided to not talk about beer because actually it doesn't really matter what you fancy to drink. It's just like we can have even milk if you want, tap water, you can drink whatever you want. Just join us if you like to. And on the very same day, so I'm talking about tomorrow, we're going to have, in 2 parallel sessions, one workshop, Don't Self-Sabotage a Masculine Imposter. That's going to be a very nice experiment of ours. It's about self-esteem and the imposter syndrome. So again, I don't want to spoil much. So if you're interested, please join us. At the very same time, Database X, it's the usual gather, not the usual, actually the second one, the second community gathered meeting. It ensembles the Venice, Milan, Padova, Turin, and Tuscany chapters of the database. And that's it, that's the database meetup. So talks, technical talks, beers, in case you're interested, and stuff like that. And finally, last but by no means least, we're going to have Django Girls May the 5th on Sunday, which is a workshop specifically dedicated to women to learn to program using Django and Python. I would like to conclude this opening just to introduce PyConX. And what I mean by that, since this is going to be the 10th edition of the PyCon Italia conference, sorry, I want to talk about a little bit on how did we end up here. So it was 2007 till 2010. This was a very old slide of mine. We had PyCon Uno, which is PyCon 1, different venue, different people, different numbers. I didn't even participate to that. PyCon 2, PyCon 3, that was my first. PyCon 4. I guess at PyCon 3, maybe we had Guido Van Rossum as a guest. It was a really nice venue indeed. But the numbers were totally different. Python was a niche programming language. It was not that popular. After that, we have 3 years in a row of EuroPython. I don't know if you already knew it, but we had, for the first time, EuroPython repeating the conference for 2 times in a row. Usually, EuroPython used to shift every couple of years. For the first time in Florence, they decided to go for the 3rd one. It was really amazing time. EuroPython 2011 till 2013. After EuroPython, it was PyCon 5. PyCon 5 was, we have to recover from EuroPython, so it was not that big, and mostly quickly organized because of EuroPython was in July and the conference was in April, so quite, the usual thing happened. I want to post some photos, maybe shameless one. These are the guys who basically founded the Python Italia Association, sorry. And so it is to these guys you have to thank every time you come to this conference. And so I want, please, you to make a big applause to them. As you may have noticed, I'm not in here, of course, so I'm not calling applause for me, of course. And we have very prominent person here, not to mention Alex, who is one of our one of the greatest guests we used to have in the next years. But, we have plenty of other people in the Italian community. Valentino was the president at the time, and Simone was the other guy. I decided to put the next photo because Carlo actually looks cool in this one. It's a very good one. And I decided to wrap up the history of the conference, posting these shameful photos. You can actually think if the age can go over this guy, he looks basically the same every time. So yeah, congratulations to him. This is Marco Berri, by the way, and he's one of the author of, I should say, at least I'm speaking personally, one of the most inspirational book about Python. That's quite popular. I guess most of you already knew it. It's one of the booklets, very close one. But I love to say that book is bigger on the inside, really. Then comes PyConX. That was the time I opted in. So that was the very first conference we introduced this selfie badges. It was fun for a couple of years. And these were the guys involved on that. It was really in the back. Right, fine. And now this is the guy. She doesn't like to appear publicly in photos, so I decided not to. And this is the Python Italia president now. That guy. It wasn't expected from him. But PyConX, or 6, was the first one introducing this sort of multi-theme event we've been doing in the next years and in the last years. So it was the very first time we introduced a specific track on very dedicated communities in the Python world. We had the very first time PyData in Italy, PyData Florence. We had Odoo at the time. Django, of course, it was called Web Village. Django Village, sorry, Django Village. The very first time, and of course the Python general track. That was also the time when we decided to establish Python Italia as an entity. Actually, it was already an entity, but we're working on giving it more visibility on the web. So we have Python Italia and many other chapters along the way. We have Python Pizza, Python Trento, just to mention some, Python PyRoma, PyMilano. I know I'm missing PyTorino, but I forgot the logo, and Simone will be really upset about it. So I decided not to include it. That said, thank you very much. Enjoy the conference and have fun.